So, good evening. Sorry, I am running a minute or two late. Trying to prepare dinner, still putting my mic on. And we've got a bumblebee in the conservatory. I'd shut all the doors and the window to try and keep the outside noise outside. Then this bumblebee is buzzing up and down, but I haven't yet managed to persuade him out of the window. But I've left the windows and the doors open in the hope that he'll hopefully find his way out to the outside world and the fresh air, because it never bodes well for them if they get stuck too long in this warm conservatory. So, who is this bumblebee fussing person? Good evening, my name is Helen Jennings. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and on a Monday morning and a Thursday evening I like to come in and say hello and do a bit of crafting with you and share with you some of the fantastic products that we've got in our brand spanking new current annual catalogue. And on Monday I shared a card that I had cased, I'd copied and shared from the catalogue using the Dino raw suite, and I promised that today there'd be a couple that had materialised out of my head, and indeed that is what is going to happen. We've got a couple of dinosaur cards that I've created for you, so hopefully the bumblebee will make his way outside to the safety of the outside world, where he can enjoy this lovely sunny evening whilst we get on with some crafting inside. So without too much further ado, I think I will turn you down and turn you round, and we'll start sharing some of the lovely things that I have ready for you. So hold on to your hats, here we go. So as always with these videos, I do encourage you to like them, to share them with other people that you think might also like them, and I will do a draw for anybody that likes, shares, comments on this evening's video, either today or over the next week. I will do a draw just before we go live next Thursday, for somebody to win a little prize. It won't be massive, and it has to be somebody, unfortunately, that is based here in the UK. I'm not allowed to send product out of my own particular region, so as much as I love and would love to have comments from anybody anywhere else in the world, and on Monday morning we had quite a big Australian contingent joining us, which was very exciting. But yes, so do share by all means wherever you are in the world. But if you are here in the UK, I will be doing a draw. And I actually forgot to announce last week the draw for the week before. And it was actually Valerie who's going to be receiving a little prize, a little goodies from me for the week before. So this week, as I say, do share, do comment, do like. And it's lovely to have you with us as we play with this Dino raw suite. Now, as I sort of shared with you on Monday, the Dino raw suite is made up of a stamp set, which is just here with all these lovely little cute dinosaurs on. There's a set of dies that go with it that are here. There's a pack of designer series paper, and as you can see I've already cut into some of mine, but there's a beautiful 12 by 12 pack of paper in some really nice bright vibrant colours. Some of it has got cute dinosaurs on and some is more patterned. There is also a roll of ribbon. Let's see, it was here somewhere. Where are you, ribbon? Or perhaps I've already put it away. Oh goodness me, it's no good being tidy. Have I put it away? Yes, I have. Won't find anything putting it away. There we are. So a roll of denim ribbon, which is great for all sorts of projects, not just your dinosaur projects, but yep. So you've got your your denim ribbon, and then you've also got this little pack of enamel shapes, and I know they're around somewhere because we're going to be using them. So there we are, and there's these little enamel shapes as well. So there's lots of lovely things in this particular suite, and in your catalogue, it's on page 99 if you happen to have a catalogue. You've just got one code. If you want to have the entire suite, you want the dies, the stamps, the paper, the ribbon and the little enamel shapes. If you want it all, there's just one code and you can have all of that huge big bundle of goodies for £71.25. Of course you can have them as individual items as well, but who doesn't want it all? So that's the bundle. We're going to be wanting the stamps and the dies. Any bits of paper I've already cut up, and this was the little card that we did on Monday morning that I cased from the catalogue. So if you haven't seen that in production, then do pop on and find the video from Monday morning and you'll see me making that. And there's die cuts and bits of vellum and some of the paper, and here's some of that denim ribbon that's just been frayed. So yeah, a really cute little card. So that was Monday morning's card. So now let's have a look at the cards we're going to make today. So let me put that out of the way. I've got a drink of water on hand. The bumblebee has gone quiet, so hopefully that means he's made good his escape. Now, which card shall we start with? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's start with this one because this is the one that has got the stamp sets and dies in it. Now, as I've said a couple of times over the last few weeks, we are into hay fever season, and because we have had a little bit of sun today, there's been quite a few people out mowing their lawns. So apologies if I am a bit sneezy. At least you don't have to look at my sort of rubbing eyes and red eyes and all those sorts of things. But yeah, it's not great fun. Right. So the first card that we're going to make is a little pink version. Oh, that's wiggled, that front bit. Let's tuck that back under there and stick that back down. So we have got a pink version of the dinosaurs, just to prove that you don't have to just have dinosaurs for little boys. It doesn't just have to be all in blue. We can make them in pink as well. So let's get all our bits out and let me find my card stock and things ready to start creating our card. Right, so our card stock here is, I have half a piece of A4 card that I've cut 14.9 centimetres that way, and I've scored it at 10.5, and then we're going to fold it in half just there to make our card base. And then we've got a piece of Whisper White card there that measures 14.4 long by 10 centimetres wide that way. I've got a little piece of, this is Flirty Flamingo, this pink. So the pink card is Flirty Flamingo card, one of the colours that's actually in the paper. So this Flirty Flamingo card is 3 centimetres wide by 14.9. And then I've got a strip of designer series paper there that I'm going to cut to 14.4 centimetres. Now I'm going to show you what I did with this paper. If you have a look carefully at this designer series paper, you can see we've got a row of dots there, and there's a couple of lines just there, and then there's a dash and another dot and some more lines. So it's like a repeating pattern, slightly different colours but a repeating pattern. So because I've made two cards, I made my original sample there plus the card that I'm making now, I actually cut from in between a dot and a dash. So I sort of would have cut it, if I was doing it again, I would cut in between that dot and that dash there, and then I cut again in between those two lines. No, I didn't, I tell fibs. I went twice. I did two lots, so you can see I cut. So in between the dots and the dash there, so I've cut there, cut again in between the dots and the dash, so you've got a dot one end and a dash the other, whichever way up it is. So you've got a dot at the top, dash at the bottom, and then repeating the pattern. So you've got like these two repeating lots of triangles, one pointing upwards and one pointing downwards. So that's how I've cut my paper to get that sort of pattern. and that is around at about 2.5 centimetres, give or take a smidge of a millimetre. Hence I've cut my border card to be 3 centimetres to give me a 0.5 centimetre border, and this one we're going to cut so that it's 14.4 centimetres long. So again, we'll have a 0.5 centimetre border going round the whole of it just there. So that is our patterned paper to go on the top. So we've got our card base, our Whisper White base, our patterned DSP, and our mat to go behind that patterned DSP. So, and the only other thing that we've got here is we have got a shape there, the pretty label cut out just there, and I've just realised that I haven't picked up my circle punch. Let me see how far I can go with my mic still on, and we want the 1.5 inch circle punch, which is, okay, that's 1 3/4. That one's 1.5. That's the one we want, I do believe. Yes. So we want our 1.5 inch circle punch as well. Right. So let's do some stamping. So as well as the Dino Day stamp that I've obviously used to stamp our dinosaurs, I've also used another stamp set, and this is a stamp set that keeps popping up just because it does some really fabulous background effects. So as well as being a beautiful stamp set in its own right with this lovely flourish in the butterflies, I love this splatter effect, but for this particular card I've used the larger of these bokeh dots to create a background. So let's put that on our block just there. Take our card and some Pool Party ink. Pool Party is another of the colours that features in this paper, and we're just going to randomly stamp some of these bokeh dots in the background here, just to break up the white of that piece of card. Otherwise it looked just a bit too stark. We could bring in a couple of little dots on the edge there, and perhaps another one just there. So there we go. So we have randomly stamped, and have I done all that so that you can't actually see it, randomly stamped all those bokeh dots across that Whisper White card just there, to give us that background. And then we're going to need a little piece of Whisper White card. This one will do just fine. And for this little dinosaur just here, I've stamped her in Flirty Flamingo. So let's find her and put her on a block. Is she going to fit on that block? Yes, she will if we put her on an angle. There we go. So we are actually going to die cut these images once we've stamped them up. So let's ink her up. And let's find our mat to put underneath, because this is a photopolymer stamp. And we will stamp our Flirty Flamingo dinosaur. There she is. I'll clean her up in a minute, because I've just realised that I've put my Simply Chamois to get damp, so that she was all ready for this live, and she's still sitting by the sink, which is not a lot of good, is it? So the little row of spikes down her back, I've stamped those in lovely lipstick ink. So let's ink that up, and we're going to die cut these as well, so we need to give a bit of a gap between those two images. There we go. And then the other dinosaur And I think we are going to need a bigger block for her because she is quite tall. She's been stamped in Mango Melody. Now if you do have a look at the pictures on the front of this stamp set, you will see that with the illustrations, they're not supposed to be completely solid images. They do have this sort of watery, coloury sort of dimension to them, as if you've sort of got paint, sort of colouring strokes almost. So don't be surprised that you don't get a completely solid colour. That is the way that they are designed. That is the effect that they are intended to give. And we'll stamp her just there. Oh, now there's obviously some sort of a hair or something on that stamp, because that is very definitely a line, isn't it? A beautiful line. That definitely isn't intended, and yet I can see it. There is a hair sticking across there. Been to the hairdressers today, so you do tend to get wispy hairs, don't you? So let's try her again. And what I'm going to do is, remembering that she's this end, I'm going to stamp her again. Oh, look at that, I've still got a hair or something on there. No, I haven't. I know what it is. There's a bit of a score on that card. So it's got nothing to do with the stamp at all. It's far more to do with the piece of card I'm using that's got a score line on it. Shall we go once more with feeling? That's better. Okay, so the other thing I've done on my dinosaurs is, in this stamp set you've got a couple of little stamps that just give you a little bit of detail. This one is sort of like spots, and this one is sort of more I don't know, scaly, sort of a bit like sort of more triangular scales on that one. So let's just find a little block. And what we will do is, using our Mango Melody, we'll just add in a few of these little dots on our dinosaur, just to give sort of a bit of an idea of some texture. And then, using this sort of scaly one, we'll come back in with our Flirty Flamingo ink and our other dinosaur, and we'll give her some sort of scaly bits. Right, now we're going to need our big shot. So let's just grab that. Because we're going to want to cut out our dinosaurs. And let me just take my scissors. I'm just going to cut off our dinosaur that we kept trying to stamp over a fold. And cut round our Mango Melody dinosaur. There we go. Let's just shut up these ink pads so I don't stick a finger in them or something. And let's find the appropriate dies. Sorry if we're wiggling you. Very aware that I've got a wire just here. So you get quite a few dies in this set. There's actually 12 altogether. And we want that one, and we want that one, and we need this one just here to cut those spikes. So let's just line these dinosaurs up. There's one. There's two, and then with these ones just here, you line up the spikes on the top, and then you get this strip of white going across the bottom that you can then use to stick your dinosaur spikes to your dinosaur's back. So I think that looks okay. Let's pop our top plate on and let's run those through. There's our dinosaur. Let's move our big shot out the way for now. We shall want it again in a little while, but we're okay for now. And the other thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to stamp our greeting. And the greeting that I've decided to use for this one is the one that says, "You're awesome," which is just there. And again, I've used the lovely lipstick. Stamp that up. Bring in our mat. You're awesome. Right, let's get our circle punch. So this is the 1.5 inch circle punch. And we're going to centre that up, punch that out, and then I'm going to come back in with these little spots. Right, where's that gone? I've just picked that stamp up, picked my block up, and now my stamp has gone walkabouts. Do you know, I do wonder. It's not that one, it was here just now. I picked it off that block, picked that block up, and it's gone completely walkabout. Okay, we'll have a bit of a change of scene then. We will go, oh no, here it is, I found it. Stuck to the bottom of another acrylic block. So I'm just going to ink up this little stamp and pop some spots, some bubbles, whatever, onto that little circle just there. So I think that is most of our, or all of our stamping done. Now we just need to put our card together. So let's close up this ink pad, move those to one side, bring in all our bits and pieces, and let's start to put him together. So using my snail, I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of this Whisper White card that we've stamped with our polka dots. Press that down, and then we will take our designer series paper. It's got nice blue dinosaurs on the back. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a tickle. but we will use those lovely triangles on the front. And then I'm going to take some white twine and I'm going to hold it just there because that's about where I'm going to want my knot to go. And I'm going to wrap it around once, wrap it round twice, and then tucking that end under there, tie a knot. Spread these out a little bit. And using my snips when I can find them, here they are, we're just going to trim those ends off just there. And then we'll put some more snail over the back here and stick this into place on here. There we go. Might need to bring that down just a smidge actually. We're going to get our dinosaurs to fit. And then we're going to run a little bit of glue along this white piece of the dinosaur spines and stick that in place. And then using some dimensionals, put a couple of big ones on the back of there, a big one on the back of there, then I think we're going to need some small ones to fill in the gaps. Oh, one on their tail just there. I'm going to put this one on first. For some reason my laptop has just gone to sleep. And we want him so that his head is not quite at the top, but his feet are just touching that spotty line down the bottom there. And then with this one, he's going to be sort of overlapping him a little bit, so we won't put any dimensionals on his head section. We'll just put them further back. So we'll put another one just here so that he can, again with his feet touching on here, he looks as if he's snuggling up, as if they're best friends just there. Right, so we've punched out of some Flirty Flamingo card. I've punched out one of these pretty labels, and we've got our 1.5 inch circle just there that has got our sentiment on it and our bubbles. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put some of this white twine across the back here. We'll have it so it comes this way, wrapping back round that way, and then wrapping back round this way. We'll snip that off just there. So when we turn that over, we've got this sort of nice swathe of white twine across the back. And we'll actually put a couple of dimensionals on there as well, just to raise that up slightly. So let's have one at the top and one at the bottom. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen, was it? I seem to have got a dimensional backing on there that's meant it's not stuck. Let's twist that back round there. Bring that in there so that that's even, and then we just need to stick that onto our card front, and we'll use some dimensionals for that as well. Let's put a couple on the back of there. So there we are, on a bit of an angle. Got a awesome, nice pink and sort of orangey, mangoey, yellow stroke orange dinosaurs. Perfect for a little girl. And of course we also need to do a bit of an inside for those as well. So all I did for that was I brought back in my Polka Dots and my Pool Party ink. And I've actually, rather than card for these inners, I've actually got some paper that I've just scored so that it is 14.4 by 20 and then scored at 10. So just under half a sheet of A4, and it's just copier paper. And we're just going to put in a few little dots, and then we'll add in a few little spots in the Mango Melody, just to give that card inner a bit of interest. Put some tape on it, open up our card and stick it in. So there we go, beautiful dinosaurs on the outside, and when we open them up we've got this nice sort of spotty detail on the inside. So there we are. Hello Pat, how lovely to have you join us. So there we are, our first little card is a little dinosaur card fit for any little girl. So dinosaurs aren't just for the boys in our life, they're also for the girls. So that's that one. The second one I have done, oh actually before I put this card away I nearly forgot the final finishing touches, because any little girl is always going to want a little bit of bling. So I've taken these little enamel shapes just here and I have popped them up onto our spikes just here. Ooh, gone from being a little bit wonky to very wonky. So one, miss one, and these aren't going to necessarily show up ever so well on the camera, but in real life it just gives a little bit of shine and dimension to your dinosaur. So there he is, he's got some enamel spikes, or she's got some enamel spikes going down her back. So there's our little girl's dinosaur. So for our other dinosaur, my laptop really has gone to sleep. It's had enough for the day. Oh, here we are, it's deciding to join us. For our other dinosaur, I thought we'd do something a little bit fun. So we've actually got a boingy flying pterodactyl. Great fun. So this could be for a little girl or a little boy. And this time we're going to need some soft suede, some old olive, some pineapple punch, and we're going to bring back in our Mango Melody. I will just share with you before we carry on, over the 3 cards, so the card I made on Monday and the 2 cards I'm making today, I used most of the dies in the die set, but I didn't use the 3 little dies that sort of add texture to your cardstock. So this one, and this one. Hello Emily, are you home already? So these are the 3 dies I didn't use in any of the cards, so I thought I would just run them through and show you what they did. So this die here cuts out this sort of triangular holes into your cardstock. Obviously it leaves behind lots of little triangles, so if you want those for something, they're quite good fun. This one cuts out these sort of holes, so you could cut that out of your dinosaur, back another colour behind it just to give fun spots. You could do the same with your cardstock. You could make them into paths, you could have them as fancy tree trunks, lots of things you could use those for. And this third one, this one just here, actually gives you these little bits that lift up, so the scales on your dinosaur's back. Or if you'd cut out a piece of soft suede card, you could have just cut yourself a tree trunk shape and have a scaly tree trunk. So quite good fun. So those are the 3 dies that I haven't used out of all the dies that were in that selection. Keep dropping things on the floor. So let's have a look at our boingy pterodactyl and see how we set about making him. So we started off with a piece of old olive cardstock. So again, half a piece of A4 card, cut at 14.9 centimetres, scored at 10.5. And where it's been sitting in my basket, that's got a little bit curved, but we'll just give that a bit of a straighten. He'll be fine. We've also got a piece of Whisper White card, and again that's been cut at 14.4 by 10, so that it's just that half a centimetre short on each side. We've got a piece of the Designer Series paper. Let me just take that off the back because I've got that stuck so I don't lose it. And this Designer Series paper is 2.5 centimetres wide by 14.4 centimetres long, and that's going to attach to the side of our card like that. And then here I've got a little slither, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to pick that up really. There's a little slither of acetate, our window sheets, and it's just a small little slither that I've cut ready to make our boingy mechanism. So that's that bit, and obviously you don't necessarily need the piece of washi tape on it. That is just so that I didn't lose it. Because the thing about window sheets is, because they're pretty well clear, it's very easy to lose them. So I thought if I put a bit of washi tape on, hopefully I shan't lose sight of where it is. Right, so let's start with creating our base on our card. So to do that, let's bring in our stamp set. I used the tree trunk and the leaf stamp, and I also used this little stamp just here that is like footprints, and the greeting on this one is thanks for being a friendosaurus. So there we go. So let us find some blocks to fit those stamps. So we'll start with our tree trunk. I'm going to ink that up with some soft suede ink, and we want our tree trunk to be sort of appearing out of the side of our paper once we've stuck our piece of paper on our piece of DSP. So let's ink that up, and so our piece of DSP is going to come along here, and we need it to be coming out of the side. And we also want some room for some leaves to go on the top. So I think if we put that about there, I need to be careful because I've got extra ink on there. So there we are, there's our tree trunk. As I say, and our paper's going to come like that. So then let's take our leaf stamp, and let's ink that up with old olive ink. a few going round. Then we're going to come back and do some second generation stamping, so they're just that little bit lighter. Let's have one coming down there. That helps to give the sort of sense of perspective, you know, some being further away, some being nearer. So there's our tree coming out the back there. So let's put that piece of paper, well no, actually before we do that, let's do our footprints and our greeting. So the footprints again are in old olive, and I've just got those coming across the bottom in a sort of zigzaggy up and down. Some dinosaur has just wandered this way in some marshy muddy ground. So we'll take them all the way across, although of course we won't see them all the way across. And then our greeting. Thanks for being a friendosaurus. Let's ink that up. I must leave myself a big note, mustn't I, to turn my sound off on my phone. So there we are. Thanks for being a friendosaurus. Right, now let's stick on our piece of DSP. DSP of course stands for Designer Series Paper, and this also has footprints on, so that follows quite nicely with that idea of dinosaur footprints that's going along the bottom there. And then we could just stick this straight onto our card base. Let me turn it round, and I will leave my piece of window sheet stuck to the back of the card so I know where to find it when I need it. So there's our background done. Now let's find this piece of white card, and we'll shut up the old olive because we finished with that for now, and we'll bring out the mango melody and the pineapple punch. And we will find our pterodactyl stamp. Where are you, pterodactyl? I did have to double check my spelling of pterodactyl. I felt sure I'd got it pretty well right, but wasn't 100% right. Or wasn't 100% sure, I should say. Right, so let's start off by inking up our pterodactyl with some mango melody. And again, you've got some sort of lines and things that are part of the design. Sort of gives you the idea of the bony parts of the wing. Hoping you can see that. So there is our mango melody pterodactyl, and then let's ink up the same stamp with some pineapple punch. And there's the pineapple punch pterodactyl. Right, so now we need to find the dies, or the die, just the one die, cut twice. And we need to find our big shot. And I think we might need to trim this a little bit. Oh, there goes an Dino, as Kellen would say. So let's line up pterodactyl number 1. And then pterodactyl number 2. And I'll move that out of the way. Here's our little piece of window sheet. Actually, I perhaps shouldn't have stuck that down quite so soon, but I think I may be able to just lift that up. Yes, I can. Right, so let's take our little yellow pterodactyl, and I'm just going to, I thought I'd got my bone folder here on hand. But perhaps I've been very efficient and put it away. So what we'll do for now is we'll just, oh no, here it is. I had a feeling I'd left it out. So we're just going to use our bone folder and we're going to curl his wings slightly, give him a little bit of sense of flying, sort of bend them up a little bit. And then let's just see if I can stop the noise on my phone. Okay, and then let's find our dimensionals. And really do with the slightly smaller ones that seem to have gone out of sight for now. Just going to put a bit of dimensional on each end of his wing. And we'll also put a bit on his body in the middle. So we're just attaching the centre and then the end of his wings, because that will allow us to give him a sense of flight. So let's have this one flying up here, bend that wing round a little bit, and bend that wing round a little bit, so you can see that you've got some height in those wings. So he's actually flapping his wings and flying. Now our other little bit, what we're going to do is we're going to take our little bit of window sheet. I think you can just about see that. It is there, honestly. And we're going to fold it over. Hi, Amanda. So we've folded over that bit of acetate just there. Can you see that yet? That's shown up quite well, actually. And we're going to take a little bit of tear and tape. And I think actually we're only going to need half a width of tear and tape. So let's cut a little snippet off and then cut it so that it's not quite the full length. Stick that on there for now. And then our little piece of window sheet. This is a bit of the fiddliest bit. I'm going to put that on there and snip that off there. And actually that bit that I've snipped off, while I've still got it, stuck to my finger. I'm actually going to stick it on the other end, and that will be ready to stick my pterodactyl. So we've got a bit of tear and half a piece of tear and tape there, half a piece of tear and tape just there. So let's take the backing off of this. And we're just going to slip that underneath that card just here and stick it to the back. Let's repress that down, bend it over so that it's sticking this side, and then we'll take this other piece of backing off of this tape just here. I knew that other bit had gone too easy. It is the way with these double-sided tapes that quite often it will go easier from one end than it does the other. So if you're having trouble, just try the other end. And we're going to stick that to the back of our pterodactyl. And then, so let's give that a good press. Let's get our bone folder and give that a good press down. So there, that's nicely folding down that way. And then because we want to give him a little bit of a sense of flight, we're going to just bend that over just there as well, so that then he's flying. So there he is, our flying pterodactyl. Maybe actually that could have been a little bit shorter, but he is working, he is flying. So we have a flying pterodactyl. And I have another card in here somewhere. Where did that go? There we are. So I think on the inside of this card we'll find our old olive. And let's just carry on with those footprints across the card. Oh, somebody next door is having a really good sing-song. I hope you're hearing that and getting the benefit of it. So there we are, we've got our little footprints coming across there. And this is the one I'm looking for. I think we'll just have, oh, got a bit of pink ink on there. Is it coming out pink? No, I think it's on the back of the stamp actually. And then we'll just put in a few little leaves up in that top corner, just to give that inside a bit of decoration. And of course you can do something similar when it comes to decorating your envelope. So there we go, 2 awesome projects. So we have our flying pterodactyls and we have, wherever they've gone, here they are, our lovely little girly dinosaur cards, and those are to add to the one that we created on Monday with the little dinosaur hatching out of his egg. So just to prove you can make some really diverse cards with this bundle for all sorts of different occasions. So it really is one that it's worth adding to your collection. Because there's not many children that don't like a good dinosaur, and I'm sure that there's quite a few grown-ups that would quite like a dinosaur too. So if you'd like to add this to your collection, then do get in touch. As I say, you can order the whole bundle, so you can have the papers and the ribbon and the enamel shapes and the stamps and the dies all in one code, one bundle, or you can mix and match whatever you fancy. I'll make sure that I put the details in the video when I edit it, But thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming and having some fun with these dinosaurs. And next week we'll be looking at a different set of projects and having a play with something else. So do come back and join me then.